Good afternoon. This is LaQuitta Joseph with LaQuitta Joseph Enterprises. I am here continuing my 21-day live challenge. We are coming up to the last of these lives. The last one will be on Thursday. So almost there. And I am also continuing to talk about probate. So I hope that you found these probate sessions to be helpful. If you have any questions about them, please reach out to me. So let's just jump in. Today, it's going to be another quick session. This time, it's about, how does real estate come into play with probate? How is the real estate ownership affected by probate? So there are many ways to hold title to real estate depending upon the state that you live in. So, and then there are ways to avoid the probate process. And I've talked about this previously, but just want to reiterate that you can avoid probate. First of all, just by passing the survivorship to survivors automatically. And so ways that this can pass to survivors automatically are, one, by having a living trust. And so I talked about having a living trust. That's the way to avoid probate altogether, and definitely avoid having to go through the probate process and it determines the ownership of your home. Another way is through community property laws, through the transfer on death deed. That just means that there's a deed that's in place that upon that person's death, then the ownership of the property automatically goes to that person. So simple as that. And then also by having joint ownership with the right of survivorship. And I've spoken about this also. Joint ownership with the right of survivorship. And so you want to make sure that the deed that you're putting in place when you purchase a home has this in it. And basically this means that so the person who survives, who is left behind after the other person's death, they get the right to the property. That property automatically goes to them. And you'll see this a lot, especially with married couples. When married people own property together, then typically you'll see this as a joint ownership with the right of survivorship. So therefore, the surviving spouse does not have to go through a court process in order to remain in their home and have the ownership of that property. So because if you go through probate, there are several things that could possibly happen in terms of the ownership of the property. So one, it could be transferred to the beneficiaries, and that would be in the case that they're named in a will. So if there's a will, and then basically in the will, then these people are named in the will. And so therefore that could be transferred, the ownership could be transferred to those who are named in the will. If there is no will, so second thing, if there is no will, then it's possible that the ownership would be transferred to the heirs. And basically that means, so, if there's no will, they die intestate. And so the probate court appoints someone as the administrator over that estate. And what they will do, they're going to follow the rules of probate in order to determine who those heirs are and who gets the ownership. And it will be based upon what the court determines, and then they will transfer that ownership to those heirs. And then thirdly, what could happen to property going through probate is the executor can sell the property through probate. And so that would occur basically if the beneficiaries, because what we're saying here, that there is a will. If there's an executor, then you know that there is a will. And as I stated, If there is no will, then the person is called an administrator and they were appointed by the court. Now, that person could still be a family member or a friend or whomever that's appointed, but it's just a matter of the determination is based upon whether there is a will or not. And when I say there's a will, it has to be a valid will. And so those are the things that could happen as a result of probate with real property, so real estate. If you have any other questions, reach out to me. You know, you can always DM me with any questions you have. A couple of nights ago, I asked if there was anyone that has been through probate or going through probate who would like to join me on a live. I have 2 more days of lives, so if you want to join me, please DM me. We can work out the details, and otherwise, I will talk to you all again tomorrow. See you then.